Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Williams.
And I'm Lucy Williams.
No relation. And we are VolunteerLocal, a volunteer scheduling and registration platform for endurance events like yours all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are thrilled for the opportunity to get to talk to you all at Race Director HQ via the interwebs.
Yes. This is our first time doing Facebook Live ever too, so be kind. So I'm the Director of Operations. I've been on board at VolunteerLocal for the past 3 years. Kaylee is the president and actually really helped get it started and has been around since the beginning. So VolunteerLocal was first created in 2003, became official business in 2009, so we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. We have expanded our business to work with a large number of verticals, including nonprofits, universities, festivals, and one of our biggest one is endurance events. So some of our clients are Ironman, BMO Vancouver Marathon, Rock and Roll Marathon, and a number of running clubs, many other ones.
Yeah, and you might be wondering, what exactly is it that we do? We tell people that we are a scheduling and registration platform, and so what that means is that the heart of what we provide to our customers is the ability to schedule their volunteers into jobs and shifts that they need filled. So you create the jobs and shifts inside VolunteerLocal, you click a button to go live, and that will share those opportunities with your volunteers to claim the jobs and shifts that they want to work. Now, of course, we do provide reporting on the back end in addition to communication tools, both email and texting, so that you can send out those reminder emails to lower your no-show rate, thank you emails after the event is over to increase your retention rate, and any special informational updates that you'd like to send along the way. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, if we share all of our jobs and shifts all at once, it's going to be a free-for-all. That's not necessarily the case. We do have the ability for you to password protect jobs and or shifts to reserve them for volunteers coming to you from a specific group, a charity partner, or volunteers who have maybe special qualifications. Finally, we do offer a suite of on-site tools like a check-in tool, a mobile app, and a flagged volunteer list.
So we are a startup company. We're a young company, obviously, but we have been lucky enough for the past 10 years to build a base of really wonderful customers, and we have found and built our software really around their needs. So everything that we've built has been a request by a customer, something that they actually needed in order to manage their volunteers, and we've been able to work with people and really build a relationship and build our software around what specifically endurance events needs.
So I think I'm a very visual person, and I think the best way to really wrap your mind around what it is that we provide is to see an actual example of a few real sign-up pages using VolunteerLocal today. So we are actually sharing my screen. I'm going to toggle over now to one of our customers, the Rock and Roll Marathon Series. Now we do work with competitor group, which means that both Ironman and Rock and Roll use VolunteerLocal for all their volunteer recruitment throughout the year for every event that they produce in North America. And this is actually what VolunteerLocal looks like. So you can see here that the sign-up page looks like the Rock and Roll Marathon website. We are a white label product. That means we're not trying to get our brand in front of your volunteers. We want you to get your brand in front of them. Now the volunteers can, of course, select the jobs and shifts they'd like to work. So these are the buffet of options that's available for volunteers to kind of peruse between and select what it is they think looks fun and interesting. And then at the bottom, this is the registration form. Now you get to build this form. It can be as long or as short as you'd like. You can collect any information that you need, including commonly we see mobile phone, first name, last name, email address, and then things like emergency contact information or birth date to ensure that a volunteer is old enough to be serving those beers at the finish line. At the very bottom, of course, we can allow you to add a waiver, and this is critically important. We know that protecting your event and making sure that you guys are not liable for anything that may happen to your volunteers on site is important, and so the waiver cannot be skipped. The volunteer must auto-scroll to the bottom of the waiver, and then they check the radio button, sign with their full digital signature, and they click to submit or volunteer, click to sign up to volunteer. So this is an example of a real VolunteerLocal sign-up page. Let's take a look at another one just to show you the variance between the custom design that we offer. So here's another customer, a brand new customer, Flying Pig Marathon, and as you can see, volunteers can come in, they can select the jobs and shifts they'd like to work. They can fill out the short form at the bottom, sign the waiver, and then they click sign up to volunteer. So we're going to transition back now to our faces so that you guys can see us. We are still here. That is what VolunteerLocal is. Very straightforward. Volunteer scheduling and registration. And we're in a really cool place in the industry. We know that there are a lot of solutions out there around registration, getting your runners or your athletes registered. There are solutions for vendors to make sure that you've got your expo booths filled. But there aren't a whole lot of great solutions for volunteer scheduling and management. And yet, your navigation bar. So where do you think we should start today, Lucy?
I think we're going to start with events, do some good old jobs and shifts.
Okay, so let's pop on over to the Your Events page. Now, creating an event in VolunteerLocal simply means that you are creating a sign-up page. An event has jobs, and jobs have shifts. So let's talk briefly about job and shift creation. Here's my fake event called the Hop and Skip Marathon. When I click on jobs, we can see the jobs that I've created on the right. I can add a job by typing it in on the left. So let's do course marshal. I'll click the add button and voila, it will populate on the right. Of course, you can come in, add a description, upload a document, add locations, whatever your heart's desire. You can go ahead and add as much detail as you'd like to that particular role. And then you build your shifts. So as a reminder, this is the top half of your sign-up page, jobs and shifts that volunteers can choose from to sign up. And here you'll notice when I click on Course Marshal, the shift scheduler appears on the right. I can pick the day of my fake event, the start time, and the end time of the shift, the number of volunteers that I need, and then I can click Add Shift, and I am all done. Now keep in mind, we do have an import tool. So if you have all of your jobs and shifts in a spreadsheet, and you don't want to go to all the work of creating everything inside VolunteerLocal, you can simply import it in, no problem. We will provide a data migration specialist to make sure that all the data goes in directly and into the right spots where you want it to be. So now that we've created an event, I'm going to go ahead and click Open Volunteer Page. And you'll notice that the event, of course, can be turned on or off with the click of a button. And when I click Open Volunteer Page, voila, here we are with our sign-up page for our fake event here. And then here are our jobs and shifts. So I'll pop back on into my VolunteerLocal account. And that is event creation. Did I get everything, Lucy? Does that feel pretty good?
Yeah, I think you're pretty good.
Okay.
I'm thinking from here, so the next obvious question would be, once we have people who are registering, how do we view them? How do we send messages to them? How do we manage their schedules?
Definitely. And I think Lucy would agree that a lot of our customers, when they're first getting set up with VolunteerLocal, they spend a lot of time on the Your Events page, building their event and really getting everything perfected for when they go live. But once they go live, it's a lot more fun to spend a little time here on the report page. So the report will show you all the jobs you've created and the percentages to which they've been filled. So you'll notice that I can click on any job and I can see the shifts within it, and then I can click on any shift and I can see the actual volunteers who have signed up for those particular times. So here's Lucy, Jenny, and Brian. Now I can click on Lucy's name and this will open up her volunteer profile. So if I need to, I can call Lucy, I can take a look at her information, see her age. And if I have any hidden fields, like whether or not the volunteer passed a background check, I can update those here as well. The volunteer profile also allows you to send a message directly to the volunteer, copy or move them into a new thing. So the report is interactive. You can reassign volunteers however you'd like and whenever you would like. And then you can notify them that they've been reassigned by simply opening their profile and resending the confirmation email to them.
So speaking of messages, how do we send emails out to our volunteers?
Definitely. So let's talk communication because we know how important communication is, especially for the on-site communications that you may be sending. So we'll start with email because, of course, email communication is the most popular. Our email communication tool allows you to send a message event-wide, by job, or by shift. Here on the left, you can craft your message. Now, you'll notice that we have these little things called merge tags. They'll populate with each volunteer's unique data. So, hey, first name will show up as Hey Lucy when Lucy gets this reminder email, which we know will lead to a higher open rate. At the very bottom, you can send it right away. You can schedule it to be sent later. If you know the day before your event, you're not going to want to be logging into VolunteerLocal and writing a reminder email. We'll take care of that for you. And the same goes for texting. So whenever you want to text your volunteers, you can do so, again, event-wide, by job or by shift. And then over here on the left-hand side, you can craft your message. Once again, you can use those same merge tags to customize the text for each unique recipient. And you can include the volunteer profile link so that volunteers can just tap that link and it will open right up to their profile. So both email and texting are included in our upgraded packages on VolunteerLocal and provide a great way for you to directly communicate with your volunteers without losing the personal touch of a nice personalized email that they might get.
So if we have 500 volunteers at our Hop and Skip Marathon and we need to know how many t-shirt sizes to order everybody, how do we do that?
Great question, Lucy. So there are a couple ways we can do that. The first way is in the report. We will show you t-shirt size by job. So of course you can expand this and we'll show you the t-shirt sizes. Now you can also do it via the export tool. The export tool is very, very powerful. You can come in here, select your event name, pick what you want your columns to be. So we'll do, I don't have t-shirt size on here, but you would select it. And then check the box to group by volunteer to get hours reporting, and we will show you an actual spreadsheet with all of your volunteer data. So here it is, nice and clean, and we can see the volunteers that we've got signed up for this fake event, their mobile phone numbers, total shifts, hours, and then hours by check-in and check-out times. Now if we uncheck that box to get the hourly report, this is how we can check, or we can create an actual check-in and check-out sheet. So this spreadsheet will show us each volunteer, and then we can include their job name, their shift start date, time, and end time. And we can highlight people's names as they arrive, the good old-fashioned way, nothing wrong with that.
Is there a way, speaking of check-in, then for us to do that actually on site through VolunteerLocal?
Absolutely. So we can check in our volunteers on site under events and then check in volunteers. So here's where you can come in and you can actually select your event. Maybe you're going to want to sort by their shift start time, hit get them, and you'll notice that we can now check our volunteers in and we can check them out using the clock icons on the left-hand side of the screen. So let's toggle back on over to our faces. We hope everybody's enjoying it so far. Okay, it looks like we might have lost a good 2 or 3 minutes right there in the middle, but we are back. So you've gotten kind of a high-level overview of our system and how VolunteerLocal works from the back end. Let's talk a little bit about support, and I'm actually going to let Lucy jump in on this because really this is her area of expertise and how we've built up the reputation that we have here at VolunteerLocal.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier on, if you were listening, all of our team members here have a background in volunteer coordination, so it's something that's really important to us and at really the heart of our company. So our main motto is happy volunteering, which also means happy volunteer coordinators, which means happy customers, and that is our main goal. Support is included in all of our platforms, including our free plan, including any paid versions. On our paid upgrades, you will get a free account manager, so you will have a person who has a face and a name and knows how you set up your events and is always available to help you with any questions with setup or when you have volunteers who are signing up. Any support that you need, they're always available. Beyond that, we have a support email inbox. We have a support phone line that you can call at any time. There's a live chat directly in your account. So when you're logged in, if you have a quick question and you forgot how to pull a t-shirt summary, you can ask one of our reps and they'll be able to answer you right away. We have a YouTube channel, so if you do not feel like talking to anybody at 3 a.m. in the morning, you can go onto YouTube and watch some tutorial videos. And again, you will have your own personal account manager who will give free trainings to any of your team members and answer any questions that you may have.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we hear pretty often is that VolunteerLocal is very user-friendly. So a lot of people will, they'll get into the product and they'll just be surprised at how easy it is to figure it out. So we actually don't get too many support calls or too many support requests. But on the other side of that, I want to be sure that we point out, I think the simplicity of our product might betray the depth of functionality that we offer. And so I do want to talk briefly about some of the more robust features included in our product that are, as far as I am aware, not found in other systems. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The first one is a flagged volunteers list. So we have a way for you to identify volunteers who you want to flag. Now, a flag can be good or bad. It doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. But a flagged volunteer will trigger a notification to you and the rest of your team when they register for your event. We'll tell you who they are, what they signed up for, and then in the report, they'll show up with a little flag next to their name. And you can take it case by case. So if you just need to reassign them into a different role, you can certainly certainly do that. If you want to notify them that they're not going to volunteer this year, you can do that and delete them from the report entirely. The next really cool feature I want to talk with you about are volunteer certificates. So after the event is over, we can give you the tools that you need to send out a digital certificate to each volunteer. The certificate will show the volunteer's name, the hours that they worked, and of course your event logo, a signature maybe from your executive director. But it's just a nice token that volunteers like to collect year over year. They can print it out and frame it if they'd like. And it's a way for them to kind of keep track of how many hours they volunteered for you. We do have a Facebook integration. This allows your volunteers to join a volunteer Facebook group where they can communicate with one another, ride share, arrange different meetups maybe throughout the year. And it's another place where you can kind of manage your volunteers. That Facebook integration lives in the volunteer profile. So the volunteer can click to join the Facebook group from within their profile. And then finally, we have a rolling birthday notification. And we're working on more of these types of notifications for your team. But the rolling birthday notification will simply send your volunteers a happy birthday email from you. You get to write the email, you get to design it on their birthday throughout the year, as long as it's within 1 year of when they volunteered for your event. So those are a few of the really cool features that we're really excited about, and there are more on the way. We'll be announcing at the end of the year a whole new set of features that we're building out for 2019.
Yeah, cool. I think on that note, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, we are going to wrap up here, but I do want to say a lot of people will ask me, Kaylee, what makes VolunteerLocal different? What is your big differentiator? Why should I pick you over any other system that does what we do? And I have a couple thoughts on that. I think one aspect of what makes us special is the customer support. We know in this day and age, switching to any technology provider, whether you're transitioning from an existing technology solution to a new one, or if you're moving from spreadsheets to a technology provider and it's a whole new world for you, making sure that there are real human beings on the other side of that computer who are there and willing to help you is so important. Mm-hmm. So we take that very seriously. The other big claim to fame is something that maybe you've heard. If you've ever interacted with customers who use our product, or you've ever signed up for an event and you've used VolunteerLocal, we do not require volunteers to create a username and a password to sign up to volunteer. And it seems like a small thing, but we know that by eliminating that barrier to entry, more people will sign up to volunteer for your event. And at the end of the day, really that's what we want. We want people engaged in their communities. We want them to support your events. And by making the tech so much easier for them, they're more likely to do it.
Yeah. And I will say, I'll throw into that, all of our team members, one of the requirements for working at VolunteerLocal too is that we spend our own time volunteering. So there's a certain number of hours every year that we have to hit. So volunteering during the day at work is part of our lifetime, and after hours is also part of our lifetime. So it's something that's really important to us.
It is. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys so much. I know Panos asked about our free version. We do offer a free version of our product. So if you go to VolunteerLocal.com, you can create a free account. There are no strings attached. It is not a bait and switch, not a limited time trial. The free version never expires. It does not contain ads, and it allows you to get off of spreadsheets. So we call it our Get Rid of Spreadsheets plan. You can create your account today at our website, VolunteerLocal.com. Our pricing does graduate from there to $200 per event, to $800 per event, to $3,000 per event, depending on the features that you'd like to see activated. So our pricing is per event, or of course annual for unlimited events if you have many events throughout the year. And if you want to just maybe give it a test drive and see what it is, we are happy to do a demo with you. So contact us at hello@volunteerlocal.com to schedule a demo with myself, with Lucy, with Josie on our team, or any one of our salespeople, and we'd be happy to show you around.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate everybody who came in live, or anybody who's watching after.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thanks to Panos for putting this group together and for the opportunity to share our company with all of you. This is so cool.
It's very cool for us.
So, all right.
Great.
All right. Well, we are off, signing off.